Hello, I'm Mimi Modi of Leviathan server. Welcome to another edition of whatever we call this feature. Today, we are focusing on turn 12, the Primal Phoenix. Sorry it took a while for us to get this video up. This fight is a bitch, and we are very proud at the rate we cleared it at. And we are happy to share whatever we can with the viewer like you. So, to begin this fight, we have a group of DPS, heals, and off-tank assigned to these letters. Doesn't really matter which ones you send them to, just make sure that they're all together because it is important for mechanic later. But for now, there is an ad that spawned called a Bennu. A Bennu is going to spawn about every minute or so after this first one throughout the fight until about phase 3, where it actually matters how many of them spawn. You don't want them to stay up for too long because they will tether the boss and give him a buff for a spell to be cast later in the fight. Blackfire goes out. Blackfire is going to target a random DPS, healer, and off-tank. And Whitefire goes out, which does the exact same thing. Whitefire is going to explode and cause a lot of damage to whoever it's targeting, but they need to stand next to the Blackfire so they can apply an HP penalty debuff to the Blackfire, so they can be dealt with appropriately. If Blackfires are too close to each other, have too much health and cannot be killed, or up too long, or stepped in, they are going to cause an AoE around itself and damage people and put a stack of vulnerability up on people, which you don't want to do. Now our second Bennu spawned, and we're going to move it off to the side a bit for another reason later on in the fight. They don't want to be close to each other because bad stuff will happen. Future you will be very disappointed. So, a second Blackfire is going to go out, and I cannot stress enough, like, AoEing them down with black mages or summoners is very useful. The reason why we have the letters stacked up as they are is so we can get them out the way as fast as possible, so we don't have to split up DPS and waste DPS. The second phase begins at 79%. I get Chain of Purgatory, which is a debuff that if I don't pass it within the right time, which is when he casts Flames of Forgiveness, I'm going to explode for a lot of damage. If I pass it too late, I'm going to explode 2 times. One for passing it, and one for passing it too late, and then probably die because they can't get heals on me faster. So if somebody other than the healer has to pass it to a healer, make sure that you do it at the right time. So the second mechanic that happens during this part is red fire and blue fire. Red fire is going to tether to a random person, and the fireball is going to follow whoever it is tethered to. Blue fire is a blue lotus that's going to show up above somebody's head, which happens before red fire, and it will cause an AoE to go out. Do not get hit by the AoE. It causes slow, heavy, and a lot of damage. But after it happens, a blue puddle on the ground is going to spawn, and the person with red fire is going to go over and pick it up. Or you can have somebody intercept it. We have it so that the person who has to deal with red fire deals with red fire, also partly because I developed a stigma, because after he casts red fire, the boss, if blue fire is anywhere close, which includes people with the debuff at the time, he will remove the fire with the pulse. So this phase will continue up until about 52%, where phase 3 will begin. So we'll take this time to explain why the Bennus are being killed where they are. When the phase 3 begins, Phoenix is going to put up a firewall and cast a move called Flames of Rebirth. Now, Flames of Rebirth isn't deadly to start. It will continue to build up damage, though, as Phoenix will get these stacks of this ability that causes him to do more damage with Flames of Rebirth. Things that cause Flames of Rebirth stacks to give they get are if a Bennu is up too long and tethers to him, and in phase 3, if Bennus are too close to each other with the AoE that they put out when they rise up, or the Bennus being too close to the boss at any given time. So we have them spread out a little bit away from the boss, not too far away. It's kind of lenient. Just don't, when you're running them back and forth in that phase, it kind of matters, but not when they first spawn. They'll just come towards you And don't be panicking because the Benus remember who they were hitting on after they died. Just make sure that the person who was second on the DPS chart doesn't overtake the tank. So phase 3 happens, and he's going to put out Flames of Rebirth. Flames of Rebirth is going to respawn all of the dead Benus. They are properly separated and will not give boss stacks, so he will start at 1 stack. We kill this Benu as fast as possible, and we move away because we don't want the bird to come back up and give the boss stacks for every bird that is around him. You're going to pass the birds back and forth like we are doing right now. And when the Flames of Rebirth happens again, another Benu will come up as a bigger Benu. You want to kill this one as fast as possible. And most videos really don't cover how you deal with Benu killing, and you need to kill them efficiently. If you do not kill them efficiently, you'll just be wasting time. So basically, we got this bird down to half health as we were limit breaking, so he's about at 33%. We have another Benu who just died. We killed that Benu just in time for it to catch the Flames of Rebirth on the boss before he got 4 stacks. So we got basically a Benu killed, and then another big Benu readied up to be killed again. And then we're going to kill this Benu to about half health. Well, about the time he gets to half health, the Flames of Rebirth are going to cast again. During that time, you're going to probably want to kill another small Benu, whoever's closest to death, before that one casts out, move, and then you have another big Benu queued up for the maiming process. You're basically giving every big Benu 2 Flames of Rebirth until you want to kill a small Benu. You want about a maximum of 5 Benus entering this phase. If you do not, you're more likely not hitting DPS checks, and you're probably going to fail the fight. If you're not killing all 5 Benus before he hits about 13 stacks, the damage that he's going to be putting out with Flames Rebirth is going to be so great that you might not live. So, to aim for, you want to hit 5 Benus. 4 if you can squeeze out of the DPS, that's great. Don't worry about it too much. If you are hitting 5, it's no big deal. And you want to hit about 13 stacks. If you are slacking on the stacks part, the real thing, if you can survive them, the real worry is, are you going to have enough time to deal with the boss in the last phase? Which happened to us a couple of times where probably a little bit more efficient killing of the Benus probably could have served us at killing the boss instead of us wiping at 3% when he hit in range. So, Phase 4 is about to start. Phase 4 begins with him casting Rebirth and changing color, and casting Flames of Purgatory again. Basically, this time though, whoever gets it is going to pass it off to the off-tank. And the off-tank is the ideal candidate for the next start of the next mechanic, Fountain of Fire. Fountain of Fire is a gigantic circle that's going to go on the ground, and it's going to tether to the boss instantly, and every so often it's going to give a stack of that buff that he would normally get when he casts Flames of Rebirth. This is the way he can get them in Phase 4. But you can avoid letting it get stacks by having people stand in the fountain. The way we do it is we have 4 stacks go to the off-tank, 2 go to the Black Mage, and 2 go to the healer. The more damage, the more stacks you get, the more damage that the next stack is going to do. Make sure that you do not take more than you want, because if you die in this fight like I just did just now through other means, that is the other way he gets stacks in this phase. If you die, you are kind of giving the boss the upper hand here. But it's not that hard to recover from it. It's very simple, because everybody who is doing their job on the fountain end, that's all they have to worry about. Everybody who is just dodging these phoenixes like a motherfucker, that's all they have to worry about. While also, the melee just kind of have to worry about making sure they don't run into the tanks so they don't get that brand from them, but it's not that big of a deal. They can just pass it back when they're ready, and Flames of Unforgiveness doesn't really happen as frequently as it did before. So as this fight goes on, he's going to put out more Flames of Rebirth, just like Phase 3, but like at a smaller rate. You're going to get about 3 cycles of this fight until he'll hit Enrage. This is the last part. You basically see the whole fight here is a bunch of Ifrit-style plumes will go out. You don't want to stand in them while this is going out because they'll pulse and do damage. And you want to spread out, not run into tanks because you still run the risk of passing Brand, and you just want to dodge these Phoenixes. But mostly when you're spreading out, you're basically doing half the dodging there. And the fight just repeats. Another fountain will go off, the off-tank will stand in the fountain and take stacks. The Black Mage, or whoever you're having after your off-tank, or whoever you're doing it, this is the way we do it. They're going to get in there and take stacks, keep doing it until Phoenix is dead. Or he kills you. So basically, if you are in my position and you die the way you do, it's not that big of a deal because your job was to dodge them, but at the same time, sometimes it's unavoidable, sometimes you're going to get hit by a bird. It's very avoidable to not get hit by two birds, but like sometimes like right here, a bird's just going to go out across the arena and it's going to hit people and there's nothing you can really do about it. More often than not, though, the bird's going to target you so you can just, like, on the side, like, next to you, so you can just make it go off in a direction where it's never going to hit anybody, but sometimes it happens. The best you can do is just make sure that you are away from other people's tethers while paying attention to your own, and vice versa. So Phoenix is just going to keep doing this, and around the last fountain, or the first fountain on the last cycle is when Enrage usually happens for us. If that happens, Enrage is basically him casting Flames of Purgatory, or Flames of Rebirth over and over again until we are all dead. So the more you give stacks to him, you know, unwillingly, or the more that you die, the more stacks you give. But, like, if you keep doing mechanics and you do live up to Enrage, he's more likely just going to be doing more damage than you can possibly heal for. I mean, like, you'll probably live through about, like, one flame until the next one goes off, which is about, like, a 5-second cast, because he's casting them at rapid speed at that point. As long as you are doing mechanics, DPSing the boss, and letting people do their job and giving them the space, this phase is very easy to learn. It takes a while to get everybody organized to what they need to do, but when they do, it becomes very efficient, it becomes very clean, and it becomes a very satisfying fight to actually do on a weekly basis. So we don't actually hit Enrage on this part, mostly because, even though I die, because we hit 11 stacks on our Benus, actually technically it's 12, we basically saved about like 30 or 40 seconds of waiting around, waiting for him to cast a spell. So that gave us a lot of time to just beat him up during this part and get the kill. So most of your damage is going to be done in this phase, so you kind of want to make sure you get to this phase as fast as possible. And that was the final Flames of Rebirth, and the Fountain Fire is going out. That was usually where the second flame comes out for us. That's turn 12. Hope this video can provide some insight, and if it doesn't, if it's just a giant mess, I apologize. If you found entertainment in this video, I am glad to entertain you. If not, you know, I can't, you know, please everybody. I understand that. I just have fun doing these videos, and sometimes I get a little bit tongue-tied and on the spot with when I, because I kind of just record a whole 14 minutes, and I don't really edit it, what I say. I just kind of listen to it, and if I don't like it, I just kind of record it again, which is a really bad way to do it. But, yeah, I got loot. Our Dragoon got a Carbon Twine, the legitimate way, and we used to have a Ninja. We kind of miss him, but, you know, Dragon's awesome, too. I love the piercing debuff. So, hopefully we can get Bahamut down. Oh, sorry, spoilers, but yeah, we hope we can get the next fight down faster and have the video up so we can have, like, you know, just that archive of us doing it. Thank you for watching. If you did watch, I hope you tune in for future videos. I hope to do more. I have a lot of fun doing them. Signing off for now. I will see you all some other time.